Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in SmackDown Live. Who needs Raw?
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it Raw. Oh, baby, I like it Raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. We're also available at iTunes, on Stitcher Radio, Podbean, SoundCloud.com/Steven Larson. What have I left out? I feel like
Google
I've left out a
Play.
lot. iHeartRadio.
Yes.
Anywhere you guys can find podcasts, any app that you guys find podcasts, we're probably there. We're going to be on Spotify soon-ish. I started to look into it. I don't think it's going to be that expensive. So yeah, and with the response from people saying I would totally listen on Spotify was pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what we're doing. Right now we're being watched by 12 people, and you can be one of those people if you hop on patreon.com/Steven Larson for $5 a month. You guys can check out the weekly live stream of the show.
Yeah.
And thanks to you patrons out there, we got this guy his own mic now.
Well, I had a mic before. It was just different from your mic.
I'm still sick, Larson.
I know.
It's not good. I'm not happy about this. Might be terminal. I might be dying. Spiritually, we're all dying, though. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out. Speaking of spiritually, we're dying. I want to give a shout out to these patrons right here. That was a joke. Nick B, Jeffrey Foran, Liam Puzon, Sean O'Neill, Dante151, Andrew Briggs, Drew Ronaldo, Gary Doyle, Samantha Atesiano, Nick Horrigan, Imps Corner, Taylor Flores, Caleb Maxey, Denton Watkins, Justin England, Brian Bartolo, Brad Amrin, Nathan Ray, Eric Barron. They edited their pledges. Lucas Kiwe, Robert Thompson, Mark Lancaster, Master Snagman. He pledged $5. He can watch this. Chris Harris. Let's see here. Richard Lyon. Max Fair, brother. Toby Michaels. Ryan Walker. Provoline Smith. That's a great name.
That is a fantastic name.
That needs to be an actual wrestler.
Wow.
Provoline Smith. I wish it was provolone like the cheese, though. I have a funny provolone story. I'm not going to tell it now, though. Brian Uvino. And this morning... the Pro Wombat pledged money to the Patreon, so thanks so much. These things are expensive.
I like that you have a story that's particular to a variety of cheese.
Yeah, I do. I have a provolone story. It's a good one.
It's just not a cheese story.
It's from back when I was
a provolone story.
It's back from when I was a wait, there's a watermark on the screen. What? Hold on a second. Really? Wait, XSplit? There's a fucking watermark on XSplit, really?
How'd that happen?
I wonder if my license is up or something. XSplit. They're buying some ad space on Going In Raw, the live stream. Oh, man. What a mess. Yeah, I have a provolone story. I'm not going to tell it here, though. Maybe in the bonus episode.
Okay.
Today's bonus episode, you guys get the provolone story. It's all about me being an RA in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, remember those days when I was an RA in college?
I do.
Yeah. Anyways, Larson.
So there was a Raw last night. Yeah, there was a Raw last night.
This was the Raw. The Raw that was going.
Raw.
That knew full well that it was going up against debates.
Yeah.
It was going against Monday Night Football.
Yes.
It was a post Clash of Champions. Then the Clash of Champions was kind of. I just think that Clash of Champions was just a really good Raw.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of storylines were necessarily resolved.
No.
In fact, were any storyline? No storylines were really resolved because we had multiple rematches last night. I don't know. I watched a bunch of it. I mean, I watched the vast majority of it. I watched the entire Hulu version. But I was sort of flipping back and forth through the debates because I told myself I wasn't going to watch the debates because I already know who I'm voting for, and Orange guy isn't going to convince me otherwise. But I decided to check it out just because it might have been a train wreck, and it kind of was. But because it was obvious that Raw wasn't really bringing it last night.
Well, they tried with the first half hour. They gave Reigns and Rusev about 35 minutes for a match.
And that was really appreciated by me.
Yes.
Yes. I actually really, really liked that. I really appreciated that.
The one thing I didn't appreciate about it is that Rusev didn't get an intro.
Yeah, I know. Every Twitter was blowing up. At Real Going in Raw, where I tweet from, where we live tweet from. Whenever you see a donut emoji, it's me. Whenever you see a poop emoji, it's you.
Yeah.
And so... he got the jobber entrance.
Yeah.
But it was a good, solid 30-minute match.
Yeah.
Arguably,
again,
it was on par with what would happen the night before.
Again, in a situation where I didn't mind the double count out.
Right.
Because everybody looks strong.
I like you know what? I'm liking the double countouts. I don't mind. I know people bitch about them. You want to finish, but this goes back to the early 1900s.
Well, also in this scenario, it kicks up the feud an extra notch because they were beating on each other with chairs.
Yeah. Let's do this first, though. Let's talk about Sheamus Cesaro first.
Okay.
Let's go through that thing because it's very quickly become my favorite thing on Raw right now. A lot of people are bitching about that Dusty finish. The Dusty finish. It wasn't really a Dusty finish. It was just a. Was that just it was a stoppage or a double? It was a draw.
A draw.
I love that. I actually love that because you've got two guys battling to determine who the most dominant physical force is, which I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And they literally, you see Sheamus, you see Cesaro nearly kill himself. That was like, they should really just stop with suicide dives.
They should.
They really should.
Yes.
That being said, they really went so far in just killing each other and proving why you've got, the old adage of the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Yeah.
I like that. And I like that they're just, and it never even specified what the championship opportunity was.
Nope.
This became more of a thing about pride, not necessarily about getting an opportunity. It was, this is a pride thing. I'm the baddest bastard on the block.
Yeah.
And, no, I am. And so the fact that it ended in a way that was, there was no winner, but it thematically, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect because you see Cesaro almost kill himself and you kind of don't want him to go on. And then you see Sheamus do the same thing. And so Foley in his this was interesting to me. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
So we had the in-ring thing with Foley and Sheamus and Cesaro last night.
Yeah.
To sort of wrap that up and see where it's going to go next. And after that, we'll get to that in a second, but after that, they had Foley and Cesaro and Sheamus backstage.
Yes.
And Foley gave kind of a meatier explanation that he hadn't given in the ring.
Yeah.
Do you think that was because Foley might have gotten lost in the moment out in the ring and they, on the fly, had to do that backstage thing so that they can actually get the point across that they were trying to get across? Because he said the tag team thing, but he didn't specify I'm going to be without one of you superstars if this continues.
Yeah.
He didn't say that in the ring. Do you think that was an on-the-fly decision to say, oh, wait a second, you missed out on this great point. Let's do this really quick and we'll adjust the show?
Or it could just be out in the ring. They just want to talk about the larger point.
Because I didn't see the point of having two segments with this. The entire thing could have been done in the ring.
No, I know, but maybe it could have been an issue of time, where they didn't want instead of having a protracted 10 to 12 minute segment in the ring, they wanted a 5-minute segment, and then the first segment we'll talk about the larger, broader issue. Okay, you two have been engaged in a battle. You're going to be a tag team now. Yeah, we'll touch on the particulars in 20 minutes of TV time.
I have two sort of thoughts about the whole tag team championship thing. That's being the opportunity. On one hand, if I'm Sheamus and Cesaro, like in character, in storyline, if I'm in there and Foley says your opportunity is going to be tag team gold together as a team, that's a dick move. I'm sorry, but there's no way you can not make that a dick move. That Foley's being an asshole, and I know that's totally not the point. But from Cesaro's point of view and Sheamus' point of view, I'm like, you're a fucking asshole. Really? You're giving me the pennies? That's what you're throwing at us? Now I have to work with this guy? That's horrible. I'm here for individual gold. There was a part of me that when he said your opportunity is going to be, I was so hoping he was going to debut a European Championship.
Oh, that'd been great.
And I know that wasn't going to, but I was like, please, 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 please.
That'd been great.
Please, 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 European Championship. Or, you know what would be really cool when I thought about it is, what if they made some variation on, because I know like Ring of Honor, I think you guys can correct me on this, but I think your Ring of Honor had a pure championship, which I think was like more wrestling. What if they debuted a belt that, you know how the cruiserweights, I mean, granted, the cruiserweight is like a weight class.
Yeah.
But it's for, it's an international competition type thing. What if they had a similar type belt, which was all just about who the best wrestler is?
Sort of like the X Division belt was.
Kind of like the X Division belt, exactly. Although that was more cruiserweight side, because that's like flying around. But then you had Samoa Joe enter into the equation. So yeah, something like who's the best, baddest, most dominant champion? Like that could be more of a thing. I like that as a belt.
The best belt.
The best belt, exactly. Top belt.
Yeah.
So something like that I thought would have been appropriate. When he said tag team titles, I was like, what an asshole. What a dick thing to do. Like, if I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's what you're going to give me?
Well, I think Cesaro and Sheamus' reactions were in tune with that.
I know. I agree totally. But
they're using that to further their storyline. They'll eventually have their blow-off decisive match at some point.
Oh, maybe a year or two from now.
Yeah.
Because that therein goes to the second part of how I feel about this, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm on board with Sheamus right now.
Yeah.
Because of that match. Because of this series, I'm on board with Sheamus. Mission accomplished there.
Okay.
Cesaro has something to do, something to chew on, which is something we've all crowed about for a very long time. So they have now, I think they can be like an APA. Once they get on the same, you kind of saw a bit of that dynamic. And when I say the APA, I just mean two veterans who have been around a while, who didn't really have a lot to do, and they got massively over because they were just some badasses. Those guys worked stiff. They were good in the ring. They had good chemistry together. And I think Sheamus, who's been floundering for a while, and Cesaro, who's been directionless for a while, I think this is perfect for them. And I only wish I wish that somehow that like the club now has nothing to do. So maybe this will give something for the club to do. But my thing is I just really wish the club would go to SmackDown. But if Raw is going to be the place where the tag teams are treated like they should be, which it seems to be the case because SmackDown doesn't treat their tag teams the way they should, then so be it. This is I think a really, really good thing for the New Day. It's a good thing for the club. Excuse me. I think it's a good thing for the entire Raw tag team.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little bit because the New Day and the club had a rematch last night.
Yeah.
Another good match.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't book the club to be just badasses from the get-go.
Yeah.
Because they're very, very, very good at that role.
Yeah.
And then Kofi got busted open when Luke Gallows threw him into the ring steps.
Man, oh man. That looked brutal. That looked brutal. Especially because it's on Kofi, who seems like the most lighthearted, fun guy. I mean, if it happened to anybody, it's one thing. But Kofi's like, he's sort of always had that like in the 1980s, like Goonies movies, you had like, or like all those types of movies, you had like the fun-loving older brother who would always come to the rescue in some manner, and he had a girlfriend. He was like the cool one. That's Kofi. Okay. He's like the cooler older brother.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
You don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you don't watch movies. So anyways, Kofi's just this guy that we all love. And to see him look like, I mean, blood was everywhere.
Yeah.
That was like a mask of blood.
Yeah.
That looked brutal.
Yeah.
And because at first I saw like this, I was sort of half not paying attention. And then I look and I see this massive splotch of blood on Anderson's back while he was in there with Kofi. And I was like, man, what happened to Anderson's back? And then I look over, I see Kofi's face. I'm like, oh my God, what happened to his face? Somebody shot him in the head.
Well, when he got thrown into the ring steps, I knew it was happening. I mean, I saw on Twitter that he got bloodied up in the match.
Right.
And so when he got thrown into the ring steps, I was kind of paying attention to it. I thought that might have been the spot.
Right.
And as soon as his head hit ring steps, I noticed like splashes of blood
my God.
on the mats outside the ring.
Yeah. Did you ever watch back that match where Joey Mercury?
Yeah, I've seen that where you hit the ladder in the face.
There is so much blood.
I know.
There is so much blood happening there.
I know.
It's like a disturbing amount of blood. So the New Day got their 401 days.
No, yesterday was 400.
Yesterday was 400, but today 401. So they survived to see 401. Where does the club go from here?
I have no idea.
So Sheamus and Cesaro, speaking of them, they had a match sort of to kick off their new alliance.
Yeah.
Their reluctant alliance. And it was against
Nick Cutler and Willis Williams.
Is Nick Cutler related to Steve Cutler? And if not, why are there two Cutlers?
I think they had kind of similar facial hair.
We're probably never going to see Nick Cutler again. Steve Cutler within 3 years is going to be main eventing WrestleMania. I think we can both agree on that. Oh no. All right, anyways. So yeah, and I love how that match was booked.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're taking on a couple of jobbers.
Yeah.
But it allowed for some really great interaction between these two. I mean, when you think about it, they do have an odd natural chemistry.
Yeah.
That kind of works. And if you can see them on the same page.
Yes.
Trying to one up each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. So let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the club goes from here. I don't know if they get their title shot in 3 months where they can finally win because the New Day have beat Demolition's record. I don't know where they go from here.
Well, they mentioned Demolition's record again last night.
Okay, well, that's going to be
470-something days.
Well, at least that's a lock for me.
Yeah. It's the first time they've mentioned it in a couple weeks at least.
Yeah.
Maybe a month.
Yeah. The New Day need to drop those straps so they can have something new to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that they're, going to beat the record. I like that because I like them having the record.
Yeah. But that means that even if Cesaro and Sheamus get a title opportunity the next 2-3 months, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to be the guys that beat the New Day for those belts before they set the record.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can have Sheamus, Cesaro beating them, but that's sort of face versus face type thing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. I mean,
I would have thought once Foley mentioned that Sheamus and Cesaro were going to tag up, I was like, oh, maybe the club will win and be a transitional champion.
Right.
Carry the belts for a month and then lose them to Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yeah.
But obviously that didn't happen.
What other tag teams are on Raw?
Enzo and Cass.
Oh, man. God, the tag team division in the WWE altogether is wildly mismatched between SmackDown and Raw.
I know.
There's too many people who need belts on Raw.
I know.
The club.
It's the problem. That's the problem with the entire roster. There's too many. It's too talented, and too many people need to be protected.
Yeah, I know. Who else is on Raw in the tag team division?
Shining Stars.
Oh yeah, the Shining Stars. That's right. Who else is on Raw in the tag team? I know somebody in chat's going to help me out here.
Yeah.
The Golden Truth.
Yeah.
Haven't seen them in a while in Raw, have we? Or have they been there regularly? I just haven't been noticing.
No, they haven't been on in a while.
I don't know. Let's see here. Let's talk about the women's division.
Yeah.
Because we have no idea. I mean, I kind of like that, there is some unpredictability. Once that 3 months is up, then it'll be game on for those tag straps.
Yes.
But until then, yeah. So what does that take us to the Rumble?
No, it'll take us to
whatever December is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which will be Roadblock.
Ooh, Roadblock. Roadblock was, which one was? Oh, yeah, they moved Roadblock.
Yeah, now it's in end of December.
Okay.
I want to say December 20-something.
Okay, so let's see here. We have, so Bayley took on somebody named Anna Fields.
Correct.
Doesn't need to be protected, but Bayley did. And so,
is that what Raw's going to do now? Anytime someone needs to do a job, they just bring in local enhancement talent?
I guess so.
So no one on the main roster actually loses ever?
Nobody from main has to be, yeah. Paige apparently has been backstage the last 3 weeks. Still hasn't been medically cleared.
Yeah.
So hopefully she'll come out soon. Let's see. Yeah, Bayley. And she gave sort of an interview afterwards. Typical Bayley. It was good stuff, but didn't really say much.
Yeah, the Sasha Charlotte segment was fantastic.
Oh my God, Sasha had fire under her ass. Yeah,
and Charlotte was great too.
Charlotte was really good. Charlotte's a foundation, man. I'm telling you, she's so good, and she's a true heel.
Yeah.
She's a true heel.
Yeah.
I love it.
Did you notice they said that she has won her last 12 pay-per-view title defenses?
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
But the point of them mentioning it, I think, is that Sasha's probably going to win it at Hell in a Cell. Because as a question later on the show mentions, Hell in a Cell takes place in Boston.
Oh.
Sasha is from Boston.
That's right. She is. Wow. Well, let's just make sure not to interview her before that happens.
Okay.
Because boy, oh boy, apparently we are bad luck for Sasha. I was just watching that match because it kind of made sense. Like I know obviously we were pulling for Sasha.
Yeah.
But they wanted to. It's obvious they want to see. I just think they wanted to see Sasha get through that match.
Yeah.
Well,
then there's the match next week on Raw for the title.
Right. So how does that play out for Hell in a Cell, though?
Oh, I suspect Dana Brooke will get involved.
Okay. All right.
That'd be my guess.
Can you imagine? Let's put these women in a cage. Let's put these women in that Hell in a Cell. Sorry, I know it's gross, everybody.
But if they're already worried about Sasha hurting herself,
yeah,
putting them in a Hell in a Cell match probably isn't a great idea.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sasha and Charlotte would probably be down to do it.
I think they'd fucking chomp at the bit and do that shit.
Oh, yeah. They'd steal the show.
They'd kill it. They'd steal the show for sure. Oh, God, but Sasha might get hurt. She's crazy. She does that shit. She's crazy. No more suicide dives. Don't get on top of that cell. We don't need to see that.
No, they won't get on top of the cell.
Like nobody will get on top of a cell anymore? They'll get on top of a cell. Can you imagine the women up there on top of a cell?
That'd be crazy.
Oh, that'd be great. I love it every second of it. All right. So anyways, Bayley beat Anna Fields. And then, yeah, like you said, the segment with, Sasha
really good.
was on fire. I loved it. I loved every second of it. Let's see here. What else to talk about?
Well, we could talk more about Reigns and Rusev. I think there's plenty to talk about there. Still, we kind of touched on it a little bit.
Reigns beat Rusev.
No, it was a count out, double count out.
Oh, that's right. It was double count out. But Reigns was booked stronger than Rusev.
Towards the end, yeah.
It didn't really Rusev look weak necessarily.
It just Reigns got the upper hand at the end.
I'm so tired of that vest. I know I crow about it every single week. I'm just so sick of the vest.
My wife mentioned that last night too.
It's my thing is this.
She doesn't watch wrestling.
Common sense shit. Like I understand that there's suspension of disbelief in wrestling. I totally get that. But there has to be some common sense, like some overly common sense, because we can even throw common sense out the window. Like the whole reversing the figure four puts pressure on the next guy. Rick, what the hell is that? Doesn't make any sense. So there are some common sense things. Some moves that some of these guys do seems like it hurt them more. I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is a guy wearing a Kevlar vest.
And then Rusev headbutting him in the chest. And we're supposed to think that hurts Reigns and not Rusev?
We're supposed to think that, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And then Rusev and Reigns still, and we'll get to this. We have a video question asking about Reigns, right? About how he's making improvements in some areas, but selling is not one of them. Selling is not one of them, and it's so bizarre. Like, all you have to do is act like you're hurting.
I know.
Like somebody focuses on your leg, for example, act like your leg's hurt after that. You know what I mean? It adds to drama. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
It was a good match. I mean, the double count out made both guys look strong, but Reigns looked more dominant at the end. Like he sort of, he did the chairs that people like when he hits people with chairs.
Yeah.
And he did that. He threw him a bone a little bit more. He hit Rusev. First he sat down and started chatting with Rusev, while Rusev was laying there dead after a spear.
Yeah.
And then when Rusev started to get back up, Reigns wasn't happy about that, and he took the chair and he whacked him again.
Yeah.
Rusev sold it like a champ.
Yep.
I didn't notice. I heard a lot of complaints about the crowd last night. Like weren't some chanting CM Punk during the Cruiserweight match?
I heard that. I didn't notice it, though.
I didn't. A couple people said that on Twitter. Fuck anybody who does that at this point. You know what? Fuck you if you're doing that, because that's completely and totally, like, there's no fucking place for that. Like, the show isn't about you. You're buying your ticket. You're going to see a show. Nobody's going there to see you or hear you, jackass. So stop doing that. Anyways, that pisses me off, man. I don't want. It's so cringeworthy.
I know.
You're doing that. You're embarrassing yourself.
I know. Especially because that match was good.
No, I know.
TJ Perkins, Tony Nese match was good.
Really, really good match. Yeah. I hope that, I don't know, has Tony Nese from what I from what I read today, there was some ambiguity as to whether he's been signed officially.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I don't know, but I hope so because I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, terrific match. I loved, speaking of the cruiserweights, I loved the promo, the backstage interview. You know, Perkins is still, I don't know how old he is exactly, but
I think he's 31.
He's that old?
I think so.
Really? He's been around a while. I know.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned he was like the first guy to play Suicide in TNA.
Yeah.
It was like a revolving cast of guys. But Kendrick, I love him, man, because he's old. He's old like us, so he can talk, you know? And it's like, there's so much care. When you get old, you just get so much character behind your shit, you know? And yeah, it's experience, but there's too much character there. I love it. I hope he has it. He's going to get that belt.
Oh, at some point, yeah.
Because TJ, a hell of a competitor, but, you know, these young dudes coming up, sometimes they don't give the most compelling promos, you know? And it's like when he talks, it's like, not the most compelling voices.
Also, we have to remember that baby faces
that is true.
are typically less interesting.
That is true. Yeah.
And then if these promos are being written for him.
That's true as well. Yeah.
You
Not all him. I know. I understand that.
So.
You know, sometimes we give more shine to the guys who have simply the juicier roles. Because, yeah, I mean, you know, even Kendrick, if I recall when he was on the mic, you know, in the CWC giving interviews, I don't know, even when he was, you know, just your straight up babyface, he has that sort of old man swagger to him, you know.
He has experience.
He's got experience. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I mean, he's been doing it for
a long time.
20 years probably.
Yeah. So yeah, that was good. And yeah, a hell of a match, like you said.
The cruiserweight tag match was real good too.
Yeah. I didn't actually see that. I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it was
that
really good.
On the Hulu version. I'll have to check that out now. Is Gulak still coming out with his King Arthur gear?
Yeah.
He should play that up. You know, if you can do that, do it all the way. I want to see the chainmail.
You want Excalibur?
I want Excalibur. I want to bring like a heavy ass sword to the ring. I want like the crown. Or you know what? Just be a fan of Medieval Times, the restaurant. You know,
yeah, there
come
you
out
go.
With a full endorsement
With the paper
outfit.
crown.
The paper
they
crown.
give you when you go.
Yeah, exactly. Or like our little inflatable Burger King hat over there that we got from Loot Crate. Put that on, you know, something like that. Come out.
You're gonna come out as the Burger King then, huh?
Yes. Come out like on a horse, like on a horse head on a stick.
Oh yeah.
And then the dude behind him with some coconuts. Clap, 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 clap. Can we please get that? Can we please do that?
Oh, that'd be good.
Clap, 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 clap. Like bring Hornswoggle back to do clap, 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 clap.
Ooh.
What? Oh, why is that offensive?
It's not. I didn't say it was.
You gave me offensive sigh.
No, I didn't. I gave you that. It was like laughing sigh.
Okay, all right, making sure. I think I know you better than that.
Okay.
I think I know. I think that was offensive sigh.
No, that wasn't my intention.
I love Hornswoggle because he says, I don't care if you call me midget. You can call me whatever you want. Just pay me. That's great. What a great attitude that guy has. Anyways.
I think the only thing we have left to talk about is the Universal title scene.
All right. So let's, this is a big scene going on here. A lot of people involved.
Yeah. They had a segment on the show where they talked about Seth's injury.
Yes.
That he had x-rays on his ribs, and they said he had they didn't specify what kind of rib injury he had. They just said he had a rib injury.
Okay. So we're probably just thinking this is maybe bruising. And they just had him out last night to let him heal.
You know, like I said on the Machinima recap yesterday, bruised ribs hurt.
Yeah,
but you're not going to further injure yourself working with.
Do you know? Because sometimes you know this kind of shit. Do you know how long somebody'd be out if they had cracked ribs?
A while.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. It's probably just they're just gonna. Last night, I honestly think that. Let me get your opinion. Enzo and Cass was the substitute. Did we see Sami Zayn last night?
No.
Last night, I think Enzo and Cass was the substitute for Sami Zayn
and Rollins. Probably.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Which is weird because Enzo and Cass are incredibly over, so they should have been somewhere else on the.
Well, they might have been.
Yeah, they would.
Originally.
They would have been. So. I honestly just probably think that, Rollins did take some brutal bumps last night or at Clash. And so regardless, he got a thing done on his ribs. And even if they said, hey, this is bruising, even if it was a matter of, when you sneeze, it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
They probably just you know what, just sit down for a day. You'll find it can advance your story a little bit if you don't perform. And you just show up and try to do. Let me ask you something. I was thinking about this the other day because it's kind of been bugging me a little bit. I don't think Seth Rollins has any desire to be a face. I don't think it suits him at all. And I know he's not doing a traditional babyface thing. He's just doing Seth Rollins, but not antagonizing the crowd and not cheating.
Yeah.
And he's being book strong. I get that.
Yeah.
But he seemed to relish so much in being a heel.
Yeah.
And I think that he just understands that he can't relish anything about being a babyface necessarily. I mean, making the moves that come in and save the day like he did on the top of the cell or on the top of the cage last week.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I just think that he loves playing the bad guy. I just get this vibe from him that he's not into this. Do you get that?
That would explain, to a certain degree, the lack of intensity he brings to some of his promos.
It's like he doesn't exactly know what direction to take with it, or he's just not. It's just not in his wheelhouse. Sometimes, it's like, hey, it just translates. I really love doing this thing. I don't really love doing this thing, but I'm giving it my all. But there's an intangible there. You love something and you don't love something, but you're trying your damnedest at it.
I wonder, too, with them not having Triple H on TV.
Yeah.
Because Triple H is his primary target.
Yeah. It's treading water.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, he's going after the belt, and Owens and that belt are also his target. But the primary is Triple H, and without his adversary there to work off of, that might explain it too.
With the realization that, all right, I'm after this title, but I'm not gonna that's not the end game for him. Isn't winning the title and going on from there. The end game for him is Triple H Mania, and so this whole sort of I'm acting like I'm going after the title.
It's kind of a placeholder feud.
It's a placeholder thing, and it's hard. Maybe it's hard to get super motivated.
And it would have made sense if at Clash Triple H would have interfered to kick up both feuds a bit in terms of intensity. But with just having Jericho come out and then Steph doing that look, and then Steph getting in the limo with Triple H,
right? And
Seth referenced that on Raw. I don't know. It's I guess they're kind of. They have time to build up to a WrestleMania match if that's the end game, but it just seems like they're kind of just making things convoluted when they might not have to.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think that there's sort of that. We have that big sort of. There's just sort of that lack of that big motivated, intriguing babyface. Because I'm trying to think. Okay, so SmackDown has. Cena's there. Cena's just super babyface.
Yeah.
After Cena, who's their biggest babyface? What, Dolph?
Probably. Traditional babyface, yeah.
Yeah. And people like Dolph.
Yeah.
Dolph has been doing it for a long time, so he seems as motivated as he ever is,
Pretty much.
It's just, you're right. It's that sort of lack of intensity.
Yeah.
That we've come to expect. I
would think to a certain degree, being a heel will probably be more fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And I think he reveled in it. And he reveled in the fact that you put the belt on somebody, they're to a degree carrying the company. And I think maybe understand. I think he, this is just, I have no idea. I've never met the guy. But the role that he has now is simply different because now Kevin Owens has that role.
Yeah.
And he's killing it, just like Seth killed it.
Yeah.
And so maybe understanding his role now, along with understanding what creative is trying to do for him, it's not him necessarily. It's where does Seth Rollins fit into this picture? And like you said, there's sort of a transitional period right now for him. It's hard to really sink your teeth into something when you're in a transitional period.
Yeah. And especially when the thing you need to sink your teeth into just isn't there.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we're seeing maybe, and this is going to bum me out if this happens in full force, a return to the Authority. Stephanie going heel on Foley last night, berating him.
Yeah.
That was definitely the old authority Steph. I don't like it. That's cartoonish to me. Like at this point, that just feels cartoonish with where we are.
They seem to be heading in a direction where there was tension between Triple H and Steph and Foley.
Yeah.
And that could have been interesting.
Yeah,
and then they just kind of went the easy route.
I know. Like, I don't want... Does anybody really want heel authority? Number one, I know nobody wants the authority. But number two, Triple H as a heel? I mean, I get that he has to be somewhat of a heel, but I just don't think that he needs to be a heel. I don't think he needs to be the bad guy to Seth's good guy.
If they had done something where it was Triple H saying, okay, Owens is my guy.
Yeah.
I brought him in NXT.
Yeah.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a heel or face move.
Right.
That's just a business move in Triple H's eyes.
I see the point in that. If you do that, that leaves Seth in sort of a precarious spot, because then Seth just sort of becomes yeah, no, I like that better. Because then Seth can be, all right, well, I'm going to prove to you that he's not. I'm going to prove to you. And it's like Triple H can maneuver without being overly cartoonishly trying to get heel heat off people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Let's see here. So then we had Jericho. I thought was they had the highlight reel.
That was great.
Right. That was hilarious. That was really good. Jericho with his list of Jericho. Kevin Owens comes down. They have some great stuff together. Kevin Owens starts running down Cincinnati. Dean Ambrose. That was really
that was great.
He still owes me $17,000. No, you're never going to get that. He's a bum. Enzo and Cass come out. Thunderous applause. Sets up a tag match between those four. The heels go over. So, yeah, I mean, not, and fairly inconsequential night of Raw.
Yeah.
Ups and downs, some good bits, some bad bits as always.
Not a ton of story development.
Not a ton of development, exactly. That's sort of the main problem. So, looking forward to SmackDown, but might be time to answer some questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
First, Najee polls. Curious to know what your Mount Rushmore of women wrestlers are.
Oh, man.
Since we probably can agree we're seeing the greatest era of women's wrestling ever, I think we can all reflect on its long history. I would go out on a limb and place Charlotte with the best ever already, since she is a fantastic heel and an even better worker.
I'll be honest. I don't know enough about the golden age of women's wrestling. The Moolah's obviously on there. I don't know enough about the tradition of women's wrestling in general. I know what I can speak to. I personally would probably put Lita up there.
Yeah.
I mean, her and Trish Stratus are kind of 1A and 1B, but to me, Lita was always more, I don't know. Lita never sort of, I'm not going to say Trish did necessarily, but I like that Lita probably had a lot of opportunities to kind of do the sellout diva thing and be in Playboy. I mean, I know she was offered Playboy and she turned it down. But I always liked that. And Lita was part of Team Extreme. She was part of them.
Yeah.
She could have easily been a part of the men's cruiserweight division or light heavyweight division. Yeah. So that's why I think, because Lita mixed it up a bit more as a wrestler, I think, than Trish did.
And she got started as a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. And that's zero disrespect to Trish Stratus.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
But I just think Lita was sort of up here.
China.
Oh, man.
Would have to be on there.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would say I would put a hold on anybody in the current iteration, because we just don't know. Is Sasha Banks going to be? Is she going to have a long career? Is she going to be Daniel Bryan? You know what I mean? It's you can't put Daniel Bryan on any Mount Rushmore because his career is done. In the WWE, anyways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You'd have to hold off on putting anybody in there now, because you need history behind them a little bit. But those three. And then a spot to be determined later. Or
we can put Alundra Blaze on there.
Oh, Jesus. How do you not put Medusa on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes on there too. So I don't know, man. I just don't. I'm not well versed in, because women's wrestling goes back a long ways. A long ways. And there's probably people who've had amazing careers that I have never even heard of.
Yep.
So, yeah.
KJ from NY. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Being that Jericho was used to put KO over as a chicken shit heel, are you okay with this, or would you rather have him win in a more respectful manner?
I kind of disagree with your premise.
No, I don't think don't think Owens is being booked as a chicken shit heel at all.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think he's being booked less as a chicken shit heel than Rollins was.
Yes.
I mean, Rollins had like an entire company behind him.
Yeah.
You know? So no, I'm fine with the way KO's being booked. It's kind of how he's always been booked.
Yeah.
You know, his pop-up power bomb is booked really, really strong.
Yes. He's always been booked as an opportunist.
Yeah, exactly. When the fight's not good for him, he
waits until the advantage is his. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Zach Humphrey, now that Rusev has lost his rematch, do you think he will still try to go after the U.S. title, or will he go for the Universal? He didn't lose last night.
Yeah, it was a double count out. So
we'll see this match again at Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
X-Ray Guy. Hey, friendos.
Hi.
How long do you see it taking to get Anderson and Gallows out of this hole they seem to be booked in? And would you agree it's time to trade them to SmackDown Live?
Yes. I would love that. Pull the trigger on that. Add some weight to the SmackDown tag division. Add some unpredictability to it. I love it. Probably not going to happen. I would love it. Have they been booked into a hole? Remains to be seen. I mean, if they don't get traded to SmackDown, which I don't think is going to happen, 4 months from now, the tag division will be interesting again. What?
I smell Dayquil on you.
That's because I just took a fat shot. It was like a double shot.
I don't know if you're supposed to take more than the recommended dose, man.
Okay, Mom.
Well, I mean, it's for your health.
It's for your health.
Chris Kimmel. Hi, friendos.
Hi.
Not a Raw question, but who do you think is going to be feuding with AJ Styles after No Mercy now that the reports are coming out that Dean Ambrose is going to be taking time off too? I hadn't heard that.
I hadn't heard that at all.
If Dean Ambrose takes time off and John Cena takes time off, there'll be no one on SmackDown.
There will literally be nothing to do for anybody on SmackDown.
So I guess the answer would have to be Randy Orton.
Dean Ambrose, time off.
I mean, I think we're going to see AJ Orton at some point anyways.
Yeah.
I suspect.
I put that in my email search. I don't know why I did that.
I don't know why I did that either.
So if that's true,
it has to be Orton then.
Yeah, that would have to be Orton. That'd be a good feud too.
Yeah,
that'd be a really good feud.
Yeah. Anything. I'm gonna
go ahead.
Ask the next question. James Rodriguez, how do you think the Raw women's division compares to SmackDown in terms of how they're using the talent that they have? What can they do to improve the division overall? We've talked about this quite a bit. That Raw's women division has probably too many competitors that need to be protected.
I would say 2 words: Emma, Page. I think those 2 names inject some uncertainty, some unpredictability into the division.
Yeah.
Because it's okay, I think. You know, we've seen Paige beat Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can see Emma beat all sorts of. Emma can put on really good matches.
Yeah.
So I think those 2 names coming back to Raw could add a lot of storyline potential to the women's division. I think that's all it takes, because if you look at SmackDown, they've got 6 solid female competitors, all who have their strengths and weaknesses. And we kind of need that as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we need that. We need that on Raw.
Yeah. Tyler Gray. Not a Raw question, but I watched your interviews with Sasha and AJ, and you talked about your favorite wrestling game. Just curious, what's your guys' favorite non-wrestling video game? For me, it's probably the 2 Portal games.
Apparently, there's a WWE Studios film that's going to be shooting in November.
Oh.
And the shooting for the movie might go into the new year. It's a WWE Studios film. How do they not shoot that for like a month? How is that not a 30-day shoot or a 20-day shoot?
Ambrose is in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There hasn't been word yet on how they'll write him off television, but it seems like he's going to be off television for a bit.
Interesting.
Oh, that's interesting. Anyways, AJ Styles face turn. I mean, fucking people cheer the shit out of him anyways.
I know.
Did we ever talked about?
We haven't talked about anything.
About your
There's
too
nothing
sweet.
to talk about.
You too sweeted him.
You didn't see anything.
I did.
Nope.
I literally saw it. I have a very expansive periphery. As I was down there looking at the camera, like seeing if it was on or off, because you had turned it off because you immediately turned it off so you can get a too sweet to AJ. So I know that's for a fact. And I see your fat face, your big bearded face. I see your arm extended. I see multiple digits in the air.
Yeah.
And I see his arm extended with multiple digits in the air. And then as soon as I start to like actually turn my head to see exactly what's going on, you're pulling back and running away and you're laughing maniacally.
No, that's not how it happened.
That's exactly what happened.
Because we finished. You went to do something on the camera.
Yes.
AJ and I exchanged a couple words,
Yeah.
pleasantries.
Yeah.
I was thanking him again, and we had a laugh. And as I turned to look towards you, you were still fiddling with the camera.
No, I saw
That's
you
how
in
it
the
happened.
periphery. You had I literally saw the too sweet. It wasn't purely in focus in my eyes,
No,
but
what
it
I
was
think
there.
what I think you saw was just like motion.
No, I saw I saw you do this. I saw this in my periphery.
No.
You too sweeted the leader of the Bullet Club. It's okay. You can say that. He said, well, what's too sweet? Anyways, keep going.
Oh, sorry. I put my phone down because I thought that was going to
So
be an
now that you
extended
too sweeted
conversation.
him, you can too sweet me.
No.
Now you can too sweet everybody.
I'm never going to too sweet you.
Oh, come on.
Never.
Ever?
Never.
I think you will.
Nope.
$1 million Patreon. You don't have to say yes to that.
Maybe.
You sell out.
What, you don't want $500,000?
I love $500,000. Money.
Patrick Sparks.
Yeah.
Do you think at Hell in the Cell you'll get a women's cell match? It is in Boston, which is Sasha's hometown. So even if it's not a cell match for the title, will the hometown girl win? Yeah. Although we thought Enzo and Cass were going to win at SummerSlam and they lost.
But this
is for a title.
This has all the makings of let's see how long Sasha can go. Let's see if she goes for 3 months. Let's wait. Let's hold off until the Rumble to pull the trigger. Let's hold off until Mania to pull the trigger.
No, because Mania is going to be Sasha and Bayley. And Bayley is going to win the belt at Mania.
Okay, we'll see.
That's what I think, at least.
All right, well, fine. We'll do our predictions for
WrestleMania 33 in a couple weeks.
Exactly, yeah.
Kyle Ulysses. Hey, guys. When Mania comes, who do you think will be holding each belt for Raw? Sasha will have the women's belt. KO will have the Universal title.
Okay.
Enzo and Cass will be tag champions. Brian Kendrick will be cruiserweight champion. Am I missing anything?
European champion will be Sheamus. I think it's going to be Sheamus and Cesaro are going to be the tag champs at that point. Kevin Owens will have the Universal title still. It's going to be Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. That's a lock.
Yeah.
That has to be.
It seems like it, yeah.
Barring injury, that's a lock.
Yeah.
Women's championship is going to be Sasha. Yeah, it'll be Sasha at the Rumble. She'll get at the Rumble. It's not gonna be Hell in a Cell. It'll be the Rumble. And then what else am I missing?
Cruiserweight.
U.S.
Oh,
title.
U.S. I didn't say that either.
Cruiserweight. You think Kendrick's gonna have it by then?
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Cedric Alexander by then.
I think Cedric's going to win it at WrestleMania.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. A babyface Cedric versus Kendrick. Ooh, that's good. I like it. Meaty. And then U.S. title is going to be, probably Roman. Probably Roman still.
Yeah, probably. Drew316. Hey, friendos. Drew here. What do you guys think about the story that Kurt Angle, he says takes, but Kurt Angle said he took
Yeah, at one point.
65 Vicodins a day?
The human body is an amazing machine, and
It's incredible that he,
I don't know.
Wow. When I saw that, I would literally.
I'm not gonna
I was
doubt.
flabbergasted.
I'm not gonna doubt Kurt Angle, but if you down 5 at a time, I guess. I have no idea. 65 a day.
It's five at a time, 13 times a day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
If I take one Vicodin on an empty stomach, which when I hurt my ankle years ago, they gave me Vicodin. I don't know why, but it hurt for like 3 days. So I took one on an empty stomach, and I was like in a haze the whole day.
I've never taken Vicodin, so I don't know. I've heard things though. I hear things. I don't know. Anyways, next.
Clayton C. Who do you think will be the first non-horsewoman to win the Raw Women's Championship? I've always been a Nia Jax mark, and I think if booked right, she could bulldoze her way to the red and white belt in no time.
That's a good point. Nia Jax could hold that belt by the time WrestleMania comes around. Bayley could win it off her.
True.
I don't know. We saw that in NXT. We've seen everything in NXT now, so. Yeah, she'll.
I'll say in a year and a half.
That long? What is she going to do until then? They already have her. They already have her.
Well, Paige and Emma are coming back.
Beating
so
up on actual
there's
names.
2 programs.
That's a good point.
But I just think, Sasha will have a run.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Bayley wins it, Bayley and Sasha will have another run, a feud. And then I could see Nia feuding with Bayley during Bayley's run, but not winning it.
Okay.
So I think it'll be another, 9 months after that that maybe she'll win it.
All right. We'll see. I think probably 3 months from now. Because you always plot out these long storylines and then 3 months later they happen. It's just there.
I know.
It's happened before.
I know. Matthew Shipman. After the finish to the Rollins-Owens match, I was wondering, how do you guys feel about the fragile referees in pro wrestling? I get that they're not trained athletes, but I just don't buy that they're knocked out for minutes after receiving one wrestling move. Is it just another silly pro wrestling thing that I should go along with?
I'm reminded of the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka meme where you must be new here. That's an age-old tradition, my friend, Matthew Shipman. That's been around for a very long time. When I talked earlier about suspension of disbelief, that's exactly
you kind of have to go
about.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that ref at Clash of Champions has kind of got bumped into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous sometimes.
At least take a kick or something.
I know.
The 29-time European champion.
8.
Maybe it's just the 29-time European champion. But besides the cruiserweight matches and the highlight reel segment, Raw seemed blah once again. The last couple of weeks, SmackDown has been the better show. What do you guys think Raw is doing wrong?
They're
protecting everybody.
They're protecting everybody. They're utilizing that third hour. Like, scale back to 2 hours and then do a talking Raw. I don't know. You can pack a lot more into SmackDown. SmackDown feels fresher, less people to be protected, more unpredictability.
And also Talking Smack gives them an optional third hour. And optional, by that I mean an optional viewing experience for people.
Right, yeah.
For the fans
I love
to flesh out storylines.
Yeah, it's just...
But you don't need to watch it because they highlight the salient moments on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But if you do watch it, it helps flesh things out.
SmackDown is it's just a fun show. Like, it's obvious that they're having more fun. It's like we've said a million times before. When you have... we've said, like, at the major pay-per-views, they tend to have more pressure on them to
hit home runs.
To hit home runs.
Yeah.
And more often than not, they fail to do that.
Yeah.
So, like, the obscure, Battleground was a really good pay-per-view, you know, but that wasn't a big one. SmackDown is kind of the embodiment of that. Yeah. They don't have a lot of... There just doesn't seem to be a lot of pressure, It's like, all they have to do is beat what they used to be doing, and that was taped and a B show. Yeah. And so, there seems to be more fun with that. Yeah. And on top of that, AJ Styles.
Yeah. Michael Barnes. The feeling you've both expressed about feeling obligated to watch Raw but getting more enjoyment out of SmackDown, is it starting to seem like that same feeling is shared with the live audience? This week's Raw in particular, that crowd seemed totally disinterested for the most part, particularly in the Cruiserweight singles match, whereas the SmackDown audience seems way more into what's happening.
You know what? There might be some of that. Because it's hard to sit there through a 3-hour show of mediocrity as opposed to a jam-packed 2-hour show of excitement. Yeah. However, last night's crowd is I don't think, when you're chanting CM Punk during a Cruiserweight Classic match or during a Cruiserweight match, you're doing life wrong. You're just doing it wrong right there. I know. That has nothing to do with what you're talking about, which I think is probably partially true. But that, anybody who chants CM Punk at this point is just, I don't know, that's bunk.
Yeah. Marty Too Sweet. The past 2 years at WrestleMania, the Intercontinental... What?
I said Marty Too Sweet. No, not for Marty.
Marty! The past 2 years at WrestleMania, the Intercontinental Championship has been contested in a ladder match.
Yes.
But what do you guys think about having a Cruiserweight Championship ladder match with 6 of the best Cruiserweights at WrestleMania and having the IC title being contested in another match? Who would you guys have in the Cruiserweight ladder match?
Cedric Alexander.
Yes.
But I like that. Intercontinental. I actually do. I like.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
I prefer that idea much better because the Intercontinental Championship at this point is on SmackDown. There's precious few contenders for it, so that should make that match more important.
Yes. Yeah. Ryan Walker.
Yes.
Hey, friendos. First time question. I apologize if it's in general been asked before, but my question is wrestling too good lately in terms of the in-ring performance? A lot of matches are given time, and they're all great compared to what we've had previously, yet shows like Clash in Raw feel weak when, in my mind, the in-ring product is amazing. Thanks. I think you mentioned this yesterday on one of the things we did about taking Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens for granted because they've set a new bar for performance, in-ring performance, regardless if it's on pay-per-view or on Raw.
And I agree with that.
And I think this is kind of what he's talking about.
And I think part of the problems, one of the results of that, one of the unfortunate results of that is that you see them try to one-up their game on the pay-per-view and do things like that top rope gutbuster that doesn't look good and doesn't help anybody and gets people injured. So that's kind of where they could be falling into a trap of we put on these amazing performances on Raw already because the talent has never been better in WWE. We've said that a couple times.
Yeah.
And then they go on Raw, put on these really good matches because who doesn't want to put on a good match in front of a live crowd no matter where you are?
Yeah.
And then, you end up in a pay-per-view. It's like, okay, we got to kick it up a notch because it's a pay-per-view. And by the way, we're doing these every month. And
instead of doing more high-risk moves for pay-per-views, I'd prefer if they just concentrated more on the story in the ring. Telling that as opposed to
I agree totally. I know.
Doing a bunch of high-risk stuff.
No, I completely
agree. I understand how high-risk moves and high spots can enhance the story of a match.
Right.
But they're not absolutely necessary.
Yep, I agree.
Ruben Gutierrez. Hey, friendos. It seems as they are booking Enzo pretty weak as shown on tonight's Raw. He's being booked as more of the loud friend to Cass. Oh, that Cass has to protect and less of a legit threat. Do you think Enzo's booking will ever change? He's always kind of been booked as the guy that got beat up.
Booked that way.
And then Cass gets the hot tag, gets the win generally.
Yeah.
He actually Enzo got a good amount of offense in last night.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't know. I mean, the long game on that, I'm not sure. They seem to be really high on Cass. Enzo always gets a big pop. He's one of the most clever guys, best mic worker. I don't know. I honestly hate to see him relegated to something like this. But long term, being like a manager / worker for Cass, I would be totally fine with them as an act,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever see Enzo winning singles gold like the U.S. Championship. I don't know if I ever need to see that. You know what I mean? Like he can have a pretty amazing career just doing that for Cass. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe I don't. I don't know.
Regardless, that's going to be a couple years down the line.
Yeah, for sure.
Excuse me.
Oh, goodness.
Andrew Wormley.
Yes.
Hey, friendo. Yes. So with Sheamus and Cesaro being a tag team now, do you think it will be before they face... Oh, sorry. How long do you think it'll be before they face the club, and do you see them being the team to knock off the New Day? I would suspect it'd be a heel team to beat the New Day.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that. That's why I would think it'd be the club beating the New Day and then Enzo and and then
Sheamus and Cesaro.
But I mean, now you've got arguably three face tag teams. I mean, they're probably just going to have to sort of. I mean, okay, so you've got Enzo and Cass, which are kind of along the same lines as the New Day in terms of their approach to ring psychology, to crowd interaction.
Yeah.
So it'd be very difficult to pair them up.
Yeah.
But Sheamus and Cesaro could face the New Day. They're going to face the New Day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're a different. They're sort of like that APA. They're not necessarily they're faces, but they're a different type of face.
Yeah.
Where they're just there to beat people up.
Yeah. The hardcore champion, Jericho Kunzman. Hey, friendos, if you had control of a Marvel or DC movie, who would you cast? I assume like wrestlers.
I'm not assuming wrestlers.
Oh.
DC movie, who would you cast as Superman?
Anybody?
Yeah. I would do this.
Sam Rockwell.
I would do this. I would make it they already kind of did that.
Glenn Howerton.
That was a horrible idea. I want to see Idris Elba as Batman.
Oh, that'd be great.
He'd make a killer Bruce Wayne.
That'd be so good.
Very suave. And then Superman, I'd want to see... It'd be great. It'll be awesome. Clint Eastwood as Superman. Well, like a hella old Superman, obviously.
Well, it'd have to be.
Yeah. He just sits in a chair and he uses heat beam on people. Come here. So I got half of that really good and then half of it really bad.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
TJ Lancaster. Would you rather be called a fat bastard by Scott Steiner as you eat at his restaurant?
Yes, that's it.
Or be on Chris Jericho's list for the rest of your life, and why?
Don't care. Steiner being called a fat bastard at his Shoney's in Ackworth, Georgia. Are you kidding me? That'd be my WrestleMania moment.
I'd rather be on Chris Jericho's list.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I would.
No, you wouldn't. It'd be funny if Scott Steiner calls you fat because you're not fat. It'd be hilarious. It'd be great. You fat bastard. Can you imagine him just sitting there sweating, yelling at you while you're trying to eat?
Yeah, but I just want to eat my meal in peace. I mean,
you can eat a meal in peace anywhere.
See,
you're at Shoney's. If you're going to Scott Steiner's restaurant, you're not going to eat in peace.
Let me finish. Like, it'd be funny for the first 2, 3, maybe 5 minutes, but for the whole duration of the meal, at a certain point, I just want to eat my meal.
It's one meal in the span of your lifetime. It's one meal. You wouldn't. That's not a great story. Yeah, I ate a whole meal at Shoney's in Ackworth while Scott Steiner dropped a promo on me.
It's still a great story if it's only for 5 minutes.
It'd be great. And it's like a super offensive one, too, using all sorts of words he shouldn't be using.
Damon Cruz.
That'd be great.
Hey, friendos.
Hello.
I might be cheating a bit, but I have 2 really quick questions. Who has a prettier moonsault, Lita, Charlotte, or Kurt Angle? Second, what do you think the announcer should do when a move is botched? Should they ignore it or do the whole, well, looks like he didn't get all of that? Which is what they've been doing.
For sure. They didn't get all of it. I like call it as it is.
Yeah.
Call it like it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you can even say, oh, yeah, got out of the way. Not what he intended.
Yeah. I think they should acknowledge it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm guessing they won't use the word botch.
What a difficult... Honestly, I would go with Charlotte because those legs are so damn long. And it looks very impressive. Like she gets high up there too. And I know the other two did. I know Lita and Kurt Angle had really, really good looking moonsaults.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you.
But Charlotte, whenever she does it, and she'll do it off the top rope onto the bottom, onto the mat.
Kurt Angle did one off the top of a cage.
That's true. I don't want to see that. That's scary. No wonder he took 65 Viking in a day. Gee, Willikers.
Smapty Jones. Hey, friendos. If WWE does sign Matt Hardy, will he be able to bring his broken Matt persona with him? Which brands suit him? And will McMahon bring the rest of the Hardy clan and give Matt some creative control?
If you're insinuating that TNA has like any legal paperwork in terms of trademarks to sign over, then you're incredibly mistaken. I think Broken Matt Hardy can do what Broken Matt Hardy wants to do.
I think so. I mean, he's selling Broken Matt Hardy merch on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Exactly.
I'm guessing TNA does not receive a cut of that.
You're right. You're probably right.
So I'm guessing he owns the Broken Matt Hardy IP.
For sure. Absolutely. And which brand suits him? SmackDown.
Yeah.
Has to be SmackDown.
Oh, he'd be so good on SmackDown.
Amazing on SmackDown.
Oh, that'd be great. Ulysses the Odyssey Ramirez. Salutations.
So many Ulysses.
Salutations, friendos. Seeing that Sheamus and Cesaro are now a tag team, what are the chances that their entrance will be, will just be an identical version of Tyson Kidd and Cesaro's old entrance, where they wear hoodies and a towel and then perform the handshake with the Hadouken and a spin, or do you have any suggestions for their entrance?
I just want them to come out like a couple of dudes who are on a mission to beat up some people.
Yes.
I don't need anything fancy. I don't need any towels. I don't need any of that.
Agreed. Jamie 10. Honestly glad that Roman is the U.S. champion, although it seriously looks like a toy belt when Roman carries it for some reason. Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tiny.
I feel that he could elevate the belt more than Rusev ever could. So how do you book Roman to elevate the title back to that Cena level where the U.S. champion was almost equal to the WWE champion, and who do you want him to feud with after Rusev? I'll say this. Before the Universal title, even after the Universal title debuted, there was 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks in a row where the main event of Raw was a U.S. title match. So that's pretty elevated.
I disagree with the premise completely. I agree with you. I think Rusev did wonders for that belt.
Yeah.
Arguably did more for it than Cena did. Although Cena sort of kicked off that whole thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Who do you want him to feud with after Rusev? Shit, I don't know. Let me think about this.
Jericho.
Yeah, Jericho, yeah. And that'd continue to make that belt look good.
Lord Craiglesworth Esquire III. With Roman currently holding the U.S. title, Seth still in a contender for the Universal, and a rematch for Dean around the corner for the World title, could the rumored Shield reunion happen at Survivor Series? See the three once again all simultaneously holding the gold? No. The only one that might be holding gold will be Roman.
Correct. Yeah, and Dean might not even be there Although that might be the way to write him off TV. But Survivor Series is at the end of November, so
Yeah.
that seems to be conflicting with current reports.
Although he can come back for a weekend or something like that.
Come back.
It's possible. Sorry, I lost my spot.
Chandler 3 Productions. I know we can only ask one question, but I guess I'll lump this one into one good question. If this is a new era in WWE, then why are we getting guest stars and rehashed angles?
Guest stars are probably self-explanatory, but the rehash angle is referring to is the Sheamus Cesaro tag team, reminding him of Kane and Daniel Bryan or the Rock and Sock connection.
I don't know. The idea of reluctant tag teams
goes back a long ways.
Yeah, they've done that for a while now,
and they've had guest stars on Raw for a long time.
And this is I think this is a fresh take on it. Kane and Daniel Bryan was its own thing. Rock and Sock was its own thing. And this is, two guys trying to prove who's more dominant. The general manager doesn't want them to destroy each other, so he puts them up together.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's good.
It'll be interesting to see how their dynamic plays out in matches. We kind of saw that last night, if that carries over, or if they start working as a more cohesive unit.
Yeah. Will Fernandez. Seems more and more likely that the New Day will be tag champs till they break the record, but how do you think a serious New Day would go over? I feel like they had an opportunity to try it out against the Wyatt family with Xavier Woods. We love that. And again, before SummerSlam with Kofi and Xavier attacking the club. I'm a big fan of Woods, and I feel like they have a decent run with at least the U.S. Intercontinental title. Do you think they'll eventually split them up, lead to a triple threat? Yeah, they're eventually going to split up the New Day. I think Xavier Woods has the highest upside. Big E also. Kofi's been around a little while, so we've seen what he can do in the as an individual performer. I think they needed to pivot into something in a more serious New Day or whatever you want to call it. I think there's a number of ways they can probably keep them together, including adding a member to the ranks, maybe making it like a full stable.
Yeah,
they can do different things with them. I hope they try everything they can before they split them up.
In terms of storyline, them dropping the belts will probably be the best thing that can happen.
I agree.
For them.
I agree with that.
Alex Shez, this is actually in response to Will Fernandez's question. Mm-hmm. Instead of breaking Demolition Streak, how would you go about breaking up New Day around or at the Rumble? Similar to Will's thinking, what about if they killed the Freebird rule and forced New Day to pick 2 members only to be recognized as champs? Since it's usually Big E and Kofi, they all agree on them, but Xavier grows jealous and is encouraged by a heel to form a new team with him to challenge the New Day for the belts.
I don't dislike it. I'm not sure about killing the Freebird rule necessarily, but if they did something like they were doing with the Wyatt family, where Xavier was sort of the odd man out and being turned in some way,
that'd been great.
Then they can do something like that.
Sean Troush. Hey, friendos, I want to get your opinion on a piece of information I came across the other day that surprised me. I saw a tweet that said Rollins has competed in 15 straight championship matches as either champion or challenger, not counting the times he didn't appear due to injury. Thoughts? He's the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
Master Snag Man. Was just wondering which wrestlers, past or present, any promotion not currently on the SmackDown brand, do you think would fit perfectly into the show today? Broken Matt Hardy.
On SmackDown.
Yeah, perfect. Matt Chapman, new patron.
Yeah, nice.
His question is about suspension of disbelief. Kayfabe may be dead, but I still enjoy the facade, and I sometimes get annoyed when that facade is broken.
Okay.
If something has been established as part of the WWE reality, I can accept it, even if it doesn't make sense in the real world. However, there are a few things that still bother me and break the facade. The worst offender for me is a botched 3-count late kickout. Are there any kayfabe breaking moments that bother you guys? Sorry this question was so long-winded. The one thing that bugs me is when they treat fake injuries as real.
Yeah, I don't like that. You know what my number one is, though? Staring at the ref when they're counting. That's my biggest... It's funny? Roman Reigns don't do that. Roman Reigns looks to the skies.
Cesaro looks straight at the ref.
Dan Boss, hey, welcome to new Boss. Welcome to new
If
job.
the rumors are true that about Tommy End and Roderick Strong coming to NXT, who would you like to see them feud with upon their debut? He would like to see Tommy End versus Shinsuke. I'm not familiar with either of their work. I
agree. I'm not either.
They should feud with each other.
That's great.
Jake Lambert. How would you guys envision all 4 horsewomen, assuming All 4 horsewomen, assuming they were all in the same brand, turning heel with Charlotte as the leader and forming a stable. Do you reckon they would assist in getting the other female wrestlers over?
That's a big chunk of the women's division in the
first of all, I don't know if there's a way that Bayley could ever be turned heel.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think it's possible.
I just don't think that's ever going to happen. There's just too many, brand split. There's too many of them. I don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to happen.
Tommy T. Which do you guys think is better? 3-hour length for Raw that sometimes leaves you exhausted after watching it all the way through, or 2-hour length of SmackDown Live that usually leaves fans wanting more? 2. SmackDown. And then if you want the 3rd hour, you can watch it.
Yep.
You can watch Talking Smack. But if you don't want to, if you got other things to do, you don't have to watch it. 2. Chris Harris, new patron.
Hello, Chris Harris. Thank you, Chris Harris.
His question is, with rumors of Paul Heyman apparently getting into some sort of creative control position backstage with Vince's approval, did you see that there has been some talks apparently about getting, like, Heyman wanted to get more involved?
Wow.
What brand should Mr. Dangerously work with? Personally, Chris Harris thinks it should be SmackDown, and someone like Bray could use Heyman's influence, knowledge, and backing, become a huge star. This has been Harris, and you're welcome. I actually think Raw would benefit more because they need some.
SmackDown's doing fine.
Yeah,
SmackDown's doing good right now.
Yep.
Put them on Raw.
Heated Pillow. How would you book a heel Bayley?
I would never do
Impossible.
that. You can't do that.
Impossible.
Ever.
Keenan the Crazy. On Raw, I feel like I don't get to see the superstars that I want enough on the show, and most nights I feel like Raw is just a weak show. I love SmackDown because I feel like I get great matches, great story, and superstars get a chance to shine more. What are 3 things you would change in Raw to make the show better overall? Make it a 2-hour show.
Make it a 2-hour show. Make it a 2-hour show. Make it a 2-hour show. And then, like, swap the writers from SmackDown over to Raw.
Well, not all of them, because then SmackDown would just become Raw.
Whoever is top SmackDown writer. No, I don't know. I mean, make it a 2-hour show. You can pack more into it.
Yeah. 7-time IC champ. Do you think Raw will have matches where cruiserweights will fight regular superstars?
I don't see that happening.
I think it will eventually.
I think in a couple of years, maybe.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening anytime soon.
Yeah, not soon, but eventually.
Yeah.
Just Luke. Do you think TJ Perkins was given the belt prematurely? His last 2 matches at Clash of Champions and last night in Raw have been kind of lackluster, and his promos need serious work. Thanks, friendos. Love the show. Keep up the great work.
I don't think his matches have been lackluster.
No.
I've been fine with his matches.
No.
I mean, was he the best? Was he my favorite person in the Cruiserweight Classic? No. But I think he's doing okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good start.
Yeah. Giovanni Lugo. Hey, friendos. Do you think the hate on Roman is well-deserved? I think he's good in the ring, decent on the mic, and has a good look. P.S. It was his birthday yesterday. Should we tell him happy birthday?
Yes, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
No, I think, I don't know. I think at this point, some of the hate is Pavlovian. I think if you put his work into a vacuum, it's actually pretty good.
I don't think any of the hate he's received is his fault per se. To a degree, because maybe he could have spoken up. Maybe if he was more experienced, he could have done things a little differently. But just based on his in-ring work.
Yeah. He was put in a position that he wasn't ready for.
Exactly. All right.
Arguably, he's outperformed what he probably should be doing.
Yeah. Robert Sarafaslanian.
Good job.
Okay. Did you see episode 2 of the new season of Lucha Underground? Have not yet.
Have not.
Anyway, after the Killshot Marty the Moth match, I realized Marty the Moth is doing exactly what Bray Wyatt should do to get over as a real threat. Because even though Marty eventually loses, you can see that he changes the people he's feuding with. What do you think? Great show, guys. Cheers from Russia.
Ooh. Russia, my goodness. A long way away.
I'll have to check that out. It's on my DVR at home.
There you go. I'll sneak into your house when you're sleeping and watch it. No good?
That concerns me.
I'm too sweet you in your sleep.
No.
I'm gonna too sleep you.
Nope.
No too sleep?
Too sleep.
No too sleep?
Nope.
No too sleep?
Justin England. I wanted to ask about the WWE's disgraceful booking of the club.
Oh, block party.
That has already been kind of tackled. Maybe I'll just fantasy book the return to New Japan.
There you go.
Instead, I'll ask how you feel about the rumor that Luke Harper will be joining Raw instead of SmackDown Live.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
I don't either.
I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah,
I don't either.
know.
Steve Alessi. Mm-hmm. Steve Alessi just traded Tommaso Ciampa for Brian Kedrick in his WWE Fantasy League.
Yes.
Do Do you think that was a good move or not?
Definitely a good move.
I want to know where you can play WWE Fantasy.
I know, my goodness.
I want to do that. Universal Jones, another new patron. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question. Do you think WWE is right to scale back the action of the cruiserweights as rumored? Will it help prevent injury or protect the rest of the roster?
If it's done to help prevent injury, I'm totally fine with it. I mean, you can't have Michinoku drivers left and right these days. So I'm fine with that.
I can guarantee you won't see any burning hammers.
Yeah. So I'm fine with it. I think they can work fine and still put on compelling matches without.
I think I understand. Usually on Raw, kind of across the board, they dial things back a little bit.
Sure.
But I wouldn't mind every once in a while, especially on the major pay-per-views. They just kind of say, "All right, just go out there and do what you guys do."
Right.
Vincent Palmieri. Vincent Palmieri has an absolutely stupid question, and he's sorry for thinking it. But he asks, "Is he the only person who sort of thinks that the Usos are now like a low-rent build of the Young Bucks and Tama Tonga and Tonga Lau's team in New Japan, Gorillas of Destiny? And because of this, they should join up with AJ Styles."
I would love if they sort of became a club expansion. I don't know.
We mentioned that before.
Yeah, we've mentioned that before.
The Real Psycho Sid. I know you guys spoke a week or two ago about the fact that there aren't true heels anymore because crowds appreciate more of the talent and work in the ring these days. My question is, though, after seeing how Roman Reigns last night did a heel move by smacking Rusev after the match with a chair, do you think this is a way they could actually start to get Roman over? Because beside the Superman punch, which is getting really old, he is a pretty decent ring worker. He is.
I hate the Superman punch.
I do too. I don't like the spear either.
I don't know.
As a finisher, I don't like the spear.
People like a badass. That's not a heel thing. People like a badass.
Yeah.
He did it for the fans.
Yeah.
So if you're doing something for the fans, you're not really a heel.
Yeah. Brian Uvino. He was at Clash of Champions. Do you think WWE still uses fake audience noise? I will admit, I am not a KO fan at all, but when going back and watching on the network, the cheering for KO was much louder on TV than it is in person. I could hear as many people booing as I could cheering.
I'd be really hesitant to think that they would pump in cheering for a guy who's supposed to be a heel.
Yeah.
I would really doubt that. And the live experience is vastly different than what you see on TV, and I don't think it's because of manipulation of noise. I know they have done that.
They could just pump up they might not pipe in crowd cheering, but they could raise the volume of the crowd across the board for the live broadcast. Toby Michaels, given the new tag team on Raw, can you see Dr. Shelby returning?
I hope not, Toby. I really hope not.
Joshua McKee, what are your thoughts on moves that have a big build-up or taunt opening? There are some good ones that look devastating when they hit, but some just feel weak. Last night, my main example is Bayley's arm-up spin and finger gun thing into a weak collision in the corner. Other ones that bother me are straight fire from Becky Lynch and Cena's 5-knuckle shuffle. For such a big build-up, the move ends up looking like it wouldn't hurt a toddler. Cass's Empire elbow bothers me too, but mostly because his bounce off the ropes feels pointless when he always kills his momentum before the drop.
Well, Hogan's leg drop felled Andre the Giant and millions more. So that's one of the, again, suspension of disbelief.
Yep.
The Rock's people's elbows, Cena's 5-knuckle shuffle. A lot of those moves just look so stupid and not impactful at all, but they were oddly finishers.
I know.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
That's just one of them wrestling things.
Charles Carmichael. What do you guys think of Foley's promos and acting as GM? I'm liking it a lot. He's bringing serious to Raw. Yeah, he's always
agree with that completely.
A highlight of Raw.
Totally, yeah.
Jack Nesmith. When Paige and Emma come back to TV, what do you think will be the next plan for them? Title picture or new feuds? Have them feud with each other.
No, you need to throw them in there against people.
No, I know.
I like your answer though. That should be your new running thing.
That's what I was trying to do.
I would say Paige Bayley and Emma Sasha, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Emma Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Maybe a real opponent for Nia Jax.
Matt Thomas.
Yes.
After watching an old WCW pay-per-view, do you think WWE could benefit from re-implementing time limits to matches?
Yes. Every match should be
they made
1 hour time limit.
They made a point of mentioning the time limit during the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, I like it.
So especially on the rare occurrence where you get close to that time limit, it could enhance the drama. The Nerd Sheet. Would Brian Kendrick fit in with the club? He's world traveled and can be their mouthpiece. I don't think they need a mouthpiece.
You know, the club, for one thing, they need to be together with AJ. Then you can start talking about a big stable. That's ruined now. That's basically ruined.
Yeah.
So
Cheese Man.
Cheese Man.
Is making Sheamus and Cesaro a tag team a cheap cop-out?
Nah.
Also, will Joy of Bearding acknowledge my question this time? Yeah.
No, you won't.
I just did.
Oh, my bad. No, I love it. We talked about it. I love it. Thing is great.
Yeah. Video questions. We got a bunch of them. Are you ready?
Then you're not going to talk about Bam? Bam's question.
Sorry.
Bam's got a question. Do you think Morrow will make an awkward reference about the friendos on SmackDown? Probably not. He doesn't seem to acknowledge our existence anymore. It's totally fine. You know, we weren't even following him in the first place.
I know.
That's a funny thing. He blocked us from not looking at him, from following. Block party!
You just wanted to say that.
Video questions. Vincent Palmieri. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys, it's Vincent here again with another video question for the two of you. This pertains to what happened last night at Clash of Champions in that friggin' barn buster of a match Sheamus and Cesaro had. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, Cesaro looked like he got hurt. I don't think he actually got hurt, thankfully. But, it got me thinking about moves and dangerous shit that they do in the WWE and in wrestling in general around the world. I know that, like, it's all staged and they plan stuff out and they practice everything, but accidents happen, people get hurt. My question actually is where you guys think the line should be. Like, you know how they banned the curb stomp and diving headbutts and chair shots to the head and all that kind of stuff. But some moves are more dangerous than others, like the Burning Hammer is an unnecessarily dangerous move, even though I friggin' love it. I want to know what you guys think. Where should the line be? What should be banned? What shouldn't be banned?
Thanks, Vincent. Great question. I mean, I think there are some egregious examples of moves that either look really bad, like the curb stomp, that you don't want people trying at home, and you don't want the appearance that it's giving people concussions when you have lawsuits coming your way. I get that as a business. And then moves that straight up are more likely to hurt people, like the Burning Hammer.
Like the pile driver.
Yeah, exactly.
But, you know, with wrestling, any move could lead to serious injury if done incorrectly.
Yeah. So if there's like either a track record or it's just obvious that it looks like you can screw somebody up, then it should be banned.
Yeah.
Carlos Hackworth. Let's see what Carlos has to say.
What's up? What's going on, friendos? Carlos here. Clash of Champions was an okay pay-per-view. I got a question and I guess your opinion. In my opinion, Clash of Champions seemed a little bit rushed. I just wanted to know your take on that, and also the whole Sheamus and Cesaro tag team. Do you think that they could be pushed into beating the New Day to become the new tag team champions? Thanks, and love what you're doing.
Thanks, Carlos. I think the Clash Champions felt rushed. I don't think it felt rushed.
It did, only in comparison to Backlash, because there was 2 extra matches. Sorry, 1 extra match.
It did in comparison to Backlash.
Because Backlash only had 6 matches on the card, and this one had 7.
All right. And yes, I think Cesaro and Sheamus will become tag champions.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Clint. Let's hear Clint's question.
What's going on, guys? It's the Bear Jew here. First off, love the shirt. Just got it in a couple days ago. Can't stop wearing it. But my question would be, with Kevin Owens retaining at Clash of Champions, who would be your pick to be the next number 1 contender for the title, whether it's Seth Rollins or whoever? And second of all, I've noticed this in a couple of his interviews recently. I don't know if it's whether he's with Chris Jericho or what, but why does it sound like Kevin Owens is doing some kind of weird Christopher Walken-y impression when he talks? It's really weird. But anyway, guys, love what you do. Can't stop watching the podcast. Keep it up. Peace.
Thanks, Clint. I think it's the way KO talks. Like
yeah.
The way he talks, you know. Because he's French-Canadian?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. And your pick for the next number 1 contender. If it's not Seth, after Seth, who is it? Sami Zayn. I'll say Sami Zayn's a
Okay.
placeholder. Probably not. He wasn't even on freaking Raw last night.
I knew I had an answer in mind, but then I forgot it.
Jason the Cabbie. Let's see what Jason has to say.
Good morning, friendos. It's Jason the Cabbie here, the three-time Elementary Field Day Participation Ribbon recipient. And my question this time around is, again, about Roman Reigns. Now, I've talked as much shit as anybody about the guy. But is it possible that he might be turning a corner in terms of performance? I mean, sure, there was a sloppy pin there at Night of the Clash of the Champions from Mars, and his corner turnbuckle bro hugging looks a little silly. But on the other hand, he's getting a lot better at selling moves. He's not gassing himself out really early on with high spots, and to the point where he needs these rest holds frequently. And he seems to be getting a lot better at telling a story in terms of the potential injuries or wear and tear on the body that comes with doing these 30-minute plus matches that he's been doing. Maybe though I could be just a little too hopeful, and this is a pipe dream, and it's just Rusev that's making him look this way, and Rusev's doing all the heavy lifting. I don't know. Get back to me, friendos.
Thanks, Jason. A lot of good points there. And I agree with most of them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think
he seems more comfortable now than he has been in a long time.
It's very true. That's the biggest thing. But also, like, his matches with AJ Styles sort of turned me the corner. I was like, wow, he can put on some really good matches.
The only dud I can think of he's put on last year is his match with Triple H at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
One more.
The good friendo, Patrick Sparks. Let's see what Patrick has to say.
Hey, friendos, Pat here. So, my question for you today is, there have been a lot of superstars in the past and in the present currently that have accents associated to their character, regardless if they have those accents or not, or if they're faking them. So, that being said, my question is, who do you think portrays the best fake accent, and who do you think portrayed the worst fake accent? I don't really have an answer for the fake one, but for the best one, I think Lana really can fool a lot of people. So, what do you think? Thanks, friendos.
Thanks, Patrick. I love Patrick. He's my favorite. Razor Ramon. Come on.
Oh,
that's the best and worst.
Yeah, it is.
Do your Razor Ramon real quick.
Hey, Chico.
All right, you ready?
Here, me get a drink of water.
All right, get a drink of water. We're going to speed around this thing.
What's the theme? Is it Cesaro or Sheamus? I saw the...
Cesaro.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. The theme is Cesaro, greatest wrestling trivia challenge ever.
Okay.
Number one.
Pudding
Jr.
Real.
Fake. Metro Star.
Real.
Fake. Mercedes Martinez.
Real.
Very good. Aries Proctor.
Real.
Very good. Dusty Ford.
Fake.
Very good. Moose Knuckles.
Real.
Very good. Lambo.
Real.
Fake. Damn. David Decker.
Real.
Very good. Stop competing with me, Decker. Power Raider 2.
I'm going to say fake.
Very good. Dragon Beater.
What number is this?
Hold on. 12, 11, 10.
Okay. Real.
Fake. Bluto Belushi.
Real.
Very good. Legend.
Fake.
Real.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I got 7.
Yeah. A lot of these were Chris Heroes.
Oh, okay.
Or variation of, like, I don't know. There's a bunch of people. I know Iceman likes when I say, but I'm looking at these now and I honestly can't. Moose Knuckles is a real female wrestler. Yeah. Aries probably is real. I'm trying to think. Okay. Hold on. That's right. We got 2 trivia questions. Pudding Jr. is related to one of these trivia questions, and it's this.
Okay.
Cesaro once wrestled in Chikara as a luchador character, and his name was A Very Mysterious Ice Cream.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of the team he wrestled with? It was a luchador character named A Very Mysterious Ice Cream.
And you want you need the name of the team?
Yeah, it was a 3-man team.
Wow.
Don't overthink this one. It's a luchador team, and his name was A Very Mysterious Ice Cream.
A very mysterious team.
You went the other way. Los Ice Cream.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to give you some extra hints there. Luchador,
No, I know.
Ice cream, it's obvious. Okay. You might get this one. Who did Cesaro lose to in his debut for PWG?
El Generico.
Oh, good guess, but Joey Ryan.
Yeah, that's my my first instinct. Was like, that's too obvious.
Exactly. Hold on, let's see how much time we have. We might be able to open these packages now.
Okay, should have like 8 minutes.
We have 8 minutes, man. We sped through that shit.
All right,
nice.
I got 7, so I think you're. I'm up 3 on the year.
All right, good job.
Here, let's open these at the same time. This one's from M Sync.
All right.
Make sure you don't get any addresses on.
This just says Leo's Imports, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Oh, whoa!
Oh man!
Look at this. It's some sort of luchador mask.
Cool.
Whoever sent this needs to give credit. We need to give credit.
That's weird.
Man, we get 2 wrestling masks.
This is just an empty envelope. Oh wait, there's a letter in here. Sorry, it was stuck to the side.
Weird. What does that say?
Hello and good day, friendos. Just want to give my support to Going in Raw and to Larson. Do not give in to this Too Sweet or Gypsy Wolf. I haven't heard that. Stay strong. There is no reason to Too Sweet, even in kayfabe. Your team is your team. Don't try to steal a gimmick, Steve. Be proud of your tag team partner and come up with a unique gesture. I've said that before. Let me ask you this, Steve. Who held up the 4 fingers for the Horsemen? The Horsemen, no one else. Now I have
there's like 1 million of them. Wasn't just 4 of them. Even at any given time. Which one do you want? Purple or green or red and green? Christmas or purple?
I want purple.
Purple.
Now I have some questions I would like to ask.
I have some questions for you.
I'd like to get your thoughts on with trend of breaking records on title runs and length of days holding a title by the modern era. Do you think that is just a cheap pop? Do you think
How did people wrestle in this?
Do you think it's a cheap pop to break a title record? Also, doesn't this make it really difficult to re-break the then current record in 20 to 30 years? Do you think the company will ever break Bruno Sammartino's record of 2,803 days as champion? No.
God, no. Of course not. Don't be silly.
I don't know if it's a cheap pop, but I don't know. It seems to be a thing they're doing a lot more often now.
I don't know how anybody can ever wrestle in this.
This isn't going to fit me in my giant head.
This is from Jared Rogers.
Well, maybe it will.
Oh, man, look at this.
Oh, that's cool.
Got a couple of these. Look at this from Jared Rogers. What's this one? This is an extra large.
That one's obviously for you.
This is obviously for me.
Oops.
Look at that guy. Too sweet.
Oh, look at that.
What's that?
It says heel turn.
Oh, my God.
That's
Heel
perfect.
Larson. Oh, no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And, yeah, I want to say thank you to all the patrons out there. We got to do our bonus episode.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, man.
We have to do it in these masks, too, and you got to tell your provolone story.
Oh, no. All right. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much.
Bye.